All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight, okay? And this, the title explains itself. The shooter, uh, and what we what we know now, thanks to JLR, the great JLR channel. Uh, he was inside. He did go through the metal detector. Now let's listen to just a couple minutes of JLR explaining this. Let's back up a little bit here.
People, but these key pieces of information are out there, unless it's all not true. But authorities ain't saying nothing. So I'm assuming that timeline is true. So it looks like he was plotting and planning what he was going to do. It's also being reported that he told his dad he was going to do target practice over there by the building. And I'm hearing that once he parked his vehicle out morning, Crooks went to a Home Depot where he bought a 5-foot ladder and a gun store the morning of the shooting, according to CNN. I forgot to add that. He went to Home Depot to get a ladder.
All right, I don't know how JLR is on the scene, but he's good. All right, JLR is claiming that the shooter went to Home Depot, bought a ladder, a 5-foot ladder, and had it at the place already, possibly. And I agree with JLR, because how is somebody going to walk around there with a 5-foot ladder and a AR-15 and not be seen? Now, if we go back to the beginning of JLR's video, we can hear this guy talking.
Background about what happened that day. They know that he went to
Can
his
you folks hear that?
at the nursing home where he works as a dietary specialist before this and said, I need Saturday off. I have something important to do. But he told his coworkers, I'll see you on Sunday. So he changed his days off, presumably for this. We also understand that when he got to the fairgrounds where this rally was being held for Donald Trump, the first thing that puts him on the radar of security people is near the magnetometer area where they're screening people in. He's carrying in his hand a rangefinder. It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long-distance shot. Because he didn't have a weapon, that would not have prevented him to go through security.
All right, so he went through security. He didn't have the weapon yet, but he did have a spotter scope, and they red flagged it, meaning they asked him questions about why he probably had it. Okay, so he goes in through the security, through the metal detectors, no ladder and no AR-15, just a spotter scope. He goes in, and there's reports that he's looking around with the spotter scope. Then he leaves. Supposedly he parked his vehicle over by that building. Then he leaves the secured area, walks back out to his vehicle, grabs the ladder. That we don't know if this is true. This is just what we're speculating. He must have had a 5-foot ladder in his car or truck, whatever he drove. And supposedly from there, he gets the ladder out and the AR-15 and walks up to the building and climbs up the ladder and gets on the roof without anyone seeing him. He does this. But once he's up on the roof, they see him. I don't know if that's true, it's possible he already had the weapon at that building placed, and it's possible the ladder was already placed. And what he was doing when he went inside was probably gathering recon or whatever information of where the snipers were set up and where people were. Very possible. I don't know. JLR is up. He's always on it. He's got the info before anybody. But I don't know if any of this is true. Let's listen a little bit more.
But they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for? At that point, they told people, keep an eye on this guy, but then he leaves the secure area, the staging area, and he doesn't turn up again for some time until the crowd says there's a guy crawling up the roof, and it appears he has a rifle. There is an eerie moment in here, Aaron, where he's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter sniper positions. And one of the counter sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him.
Wow. So there's reports that the sniper counter team, the guys that had the police jackets on, was actually looking at him, and they were reporting on the radio, telling him he's looking at us and we're looking at him. But there was no weapon. There was no weapon. So they probably didn't fire. And I would imagine there was probably some commotion around there. And I would imagine this sniper, counter sniper team was trying to get info just to make sure it wasn't one of the police officers on the roof or another team, right? Very interesting. I did notice, and I'm not leading anything into this, but one of the snipers that took him out had tattoos. Now I don't know if that means anything, but by tomorrow it might. Me just saying it might. We don't know. All right, let's get more into this.
Then when people alert the police and they try to come up the ladder to get him, and he confronts them with the AR-15 gun, they dive for cover.
Now, this, I'm speculating about the police. The police are saying that 2 police officers seen him. And what they did was one of the police officers, they're saying, stood on the other police officer's shoulders to get on top of the building to look. And the police officer, I guess this guy pointed his gun at the police officer, and the police officer let go of the side of the building. But I don't think 2 people even standing on top of each other's shoulders could have got up there. Unless they got up where he got up there on the shorter part of that bridge that connected the walk path that connected the 2 buildings. But here is the real fishy thing. There is no video of this. There's no video of the police trying to get up on the roof. And there was cameras filming it all. And yet there's no footage of the police ever saying that they used tactical techniques to climb up on the roof, standing on each other's shoulders to get on top of the roof. There's no video of that. There is video of people saying, what the heck is going on? Where are the police? Why are they running around acting dumb? There's reports of that. All right, so let's watch this more. It makes no sense. Well, he went in probably to do surveillance, to see where everyone was set up, all the sniper teams. He didn't have any rifle with him. I'm sure he would have never made it through the metal detectors. And he had no ladder with him. So that ladder and rifle was either in his car or it was already placed at the building, because There was people sitting around the building, and no one seen him with a ladder or rifle until he was on the roof. So he came in the back way. He came in over by the water tower where there was nobody, and he had tree cover. That whole group of of trees, he had cover. So he didn't come in on the side where everybody was filming. Maybe he came in on the other side. But then again, I have a feeling he had everything there already. People were filming, but no one caught him getting up on the roof. And nobody has came out with video saying that the police were standing on each other's shoulders trying to get on top of the building. There was tons of cameras around there, phones, and surely they would have seen that. I did see a cop walking around the building, but I didn't see no cops trying to get on the building. All right, let's see what else JLR is saying.
Then a moment later, he opens fire. But a lot of this sounds very spread out. The end of it happens very quickly. The last piece is the search of the car. As we reported last night, 2 remote-controlled IEDs, remote-controlled bombs in the car. The remote control for those devices found on his person on the roof, according to sources. 3 fully loaded magazines with nearly 100 rounds, a bulletproof vest. So it raises the question, did he expect to escape from this? And if so, what was all that intended for? What was that?
He had a bulletproof vest. Bombs. Why did he not have the bulletproof vest on when he was up there? He thought he was going to make it out of there. He must have had plans for something else. If he had a bulletproof vest on him, why didn't he have it on when he was going up on the roof to shoot? You would think he would want protection if he was going to be taking rounds, but he didn't have it on. So this guy on JLR's channel might be right. He might have had intentions that he was going to make it out of there somehow, some way. I don't know. The only way you make it out of something like that is if you are the best of the best of the best. The best of the best. That's the only way you make it out of something like that. Or unless you have a guaranteed 100% guarantee that you're going to walk away from that without being fired on. Meaning it would have had to been corrupt or something. Someone must have gave him the okay and say, there ain't nobody going to hit you. We need you to go do this, do that. But I don't see that happening. JLR was saying that the guy's a paid hitman, a killer. I don't know about that. But if he didn't have all this stuff with him and he left it all in the car, then he must have had plans of leaving that area. How? I have no idea. There ain't no way you're going to walk away in a situation like that. Not if they can help it. Interesting, though. Let me read my chats here. Yes, great live, Miss ATS News. Interesting, though, right? What was the end game? I don't know. They said he had bombs. He had a bulletproof vest. We don't know what his MO was. What put him up to this? If he was paid, if he was affiliated somehow, that he was Republican, so you would think he would love Trump. I mean, even people that don't love Trump ain't this crazy. I mean, this is the second teenage kid or 20-year-old kid that tried to take Trump out. What's wrong with this generation coming up? I don't know. I have no idea. Sickness, maybe? I don't know. So he did go in through the metal detectors, but that proves that he didn't, when he did, he didn't have no weapon on him or no ladder. Yeah, and very fishy. But, I'm thinking what everyone else is thinking. This stuff might have already been there. He might have went there, I don't know, maybe a day. Maybe he might have went there in the middle of the night, pitch dark, and put the ladder, laid it down on the ground, and might have hid his weapon around there. And that would explain why nobody's seen him uh, getting out of a vehicle, grabbing a rifle and a ladder, and walking up to that building. The only thing I can think of is he came in where he knew he would be not seen. And that's the side of the water tower where that tree line is. That big giant parking lot there. That's the only thing I can think of. The trees supplied cover, plus he knew there was nobody on the water tower. So he was safe going in the back way and getting up on the roof there, possibly. Or he just walked right up out of the blue. That's why nobody noticed him. He didn't have nothing but a backpack on. He walked right up to the building, grabbed the ladder that he already had there, leaned it up against the building, grabbed his weapon. Depending on if that weapon had a folding buttstock, it could have fit in his backpack, but that would have been picked up. If he went through the metal detectors with a backpack, it would have been picked up. ATS News. Like, how did he think he would get to the bombs in the car? Well, I don't know. Maybe he thought he was that good. Maybe he thought they were undermanned. They didn't have the manpower. Maybe he thought he was good enough to take out the two counter snipers and get off rounds. We know this much. To get the shot that he had to get Trump, he was all the way on the other side of the building. He got off his shots, and I think once he knew that the counter team got word that he was on that roof, he backed off. He backed down. He bear crawled back down to like if he was going to jump off the roof, but he didn't. And he bear crawled to the other side, thinking maybe he was going to get a couple shots at the sniper because he was in the tree line. He had the tree cover there by the building. But the snipers got the best of him and seen him coming. There was an opening there between them two trees. I bet you the snipers probably seen him and got him right there. So he was all over that roof, but he had to be in a certain spot to get that shot at Trump because the giant screen, the monitor was blocking him, and he had to be at a certain spot to get that shot. And that's when everybody seen him, was when he was taking them shots at Trump, because he was all the way at the end of the other side of the building on the roof where he had to be to get a clear shot at Trump or whoever his target was. All right, let's go into this with JLR.
About this guy here, I will share with all of you. I am scouring the net for info so we can get some insight. So check out my playlist.
I'll tell you what, that JLR, that son of a gun, no, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it.
Learned a lot
He's
about
good.
this guy, and we will continue to learn more. One more thing, everyone. There is more information, folks. There is more information. He apparently went to Home Depot in the morning of the shooting, according to CNN. I forgot to add that. He went.
Okay. The morning of the shooting, he got a ladder. So Ixnay on the ladder was left there. So how did this kid get to where he got without people seeing the ladder and the rifle? And my opinion is he came in on the back side of the building where that giant parking lot was, where the side of the water tower. That's the only way. And he wasn't spotted until he was on the roof already. That's when the cameras and the phones started picking him up, and they were all going, hey, look, hey, there's someone on the roof. He came in through the back way where all that wood was leaned up against the building. The skids were stacked up. That's probably where it came in. Had to be, because someone would have seen him walking down the side of that building with a ladder, a backpack, and climbing up on the roof. No one seen him until he was actually on the roof. Very interesting. Very interesting. But I'll tell you this one thing, being that they left the water tower open and didn't have a counter sniper guy on that water tower, no matter where he came in from, the water tower guy would have seen him right off the bat. No matter what. A drone would have seen him, and someone on that water tower would have seen him in a heartbeat come up on that roof. Why they didn't have that water tower covered, I don't know, because that would be, if you watch a lot of this tactical stuff and killers and everything, they have the advantage of being up higher. So anybody with the right mind would have known, they would pick the water tower. But that's a problem because some of these water towers these days are all gated. You can't get to them, right? They got a giant 10-foot gate around them, and they're all locked up. Some of them don't. You can walk right up to them and walk right up the ladder. So I would imagine that if he was that crazy, his first pick of doing this would have been the water tower, because it was at very high altitude, and he would have been able to shoot down upon everybody. But I bet you he couldn't either get up there, or it was just too hairy. Them water towers are scarier than crap. I don't know how them dudes get on top there, but you wouldn't catch me up there in a heartbeat. So the next plan was probably plan B, the roof of the building. And still, even though it was a less of an incline and lower than the building that the counter snipers were on, once he dipped down past the ridge of that roof, they probably couldn't pick him up too good. They probably couldn't see him. That's why he was moving around on top of that roof, bear crawling back and forth underneath the ridge, right? So in order to get him, they would have had to shoot through the roof. The tin steel metal roof, which is like an 1/8 inch thick or whatever. I'm not saying it ain't possible to do, especially with a high caliber weapon. But yeah, let's listen more about this. So the morning of the shooting, he buys a 5-foot ladder. He buys a 5-foot ladder.
At the Home Depot to get a ladder. Check it out. On Friday, he went to a shooting range where he was a member and practiced firing. a law enforcement official told CNN. The next morning, Crooks went to a Home Depot where he bought a 5-foot ladder and a gun store where he purchased 50 rounds of ammunition. Then Crooks drove his Hyundai Sonata about an hour north, joining thousands of people from around the region who flocked to Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He parked the car outside the rally with an improvised explosive device.
There you go, folks. He parked his car somewhere and it had bombs in it. And a 5-foot ladder. Backpack. And I wonder if he went through the metal detector with that backpack on. I'm interested to see how did he get to that building without no one noticing a rifle and a ladder and a backpack. There's only one way, I would believe, but anything is possible. He could have just walked up so fast, no one knew nothing. He might have posed as a maintenance man or something. He might have posed as a maintenance man. Now, I'm getting mixed connections here because there's people saying he was wearing just white pants. But the photos I seen look like he had Desert Storm camo on, the light tan camo pants. But people are saying, no, he didn't. He just had white pants on. I don't know. If you look at some of the photos, it looked like he had camo on. But then again, you look at other photos and it don't look like camo. So interesting. It's pretty interesting.
On a ladder. And I'm hearing that once he parked his vehicle outside the venue, he took the ladder and the rifle to the venue, which is very, very strange to me how no one would notice an individual with a ladder.
Yeah, I mean, how do you walk around? How do you walk around a Trump rally with a ladder, 5-foot ladder, and an AR-15 and a backpack and a scope, and no one knows? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm just observing today. So we know this much. The guy was inside the secure area. He went in, he did his recon. He probably wanted to see where everyone was set up. He wanted to see if he would be able probably to get a clear shot at Trump from where he was going to be. And then he leaves the secured area where he had to go through metal detectors and police. And he gets back to his car, drives his car to that building, gets out with a ladder, a weapon, and a backpack, and climbs up on the roof. And before anybody knows it, he's got 7 or 8 shots off, and he's on his way out of there. And if it wasn't probably for the counter sniper team of seeing that gap, because he was undercover, I bet, by them trees. And where it looks like they shot him was where he was either going to come up to try and take out them 2 snipers, them 2 counter sniper guys, which is the most stupidest thing you could ever do. He should have got his butt out of there, but he must have had plan. He must have thought he was so good he was going to take out Trump, then take out the 2 counter snipers, then get down off of the building and go out and cause havoc. I don't know. These kids today live in a fantasy world. They live in a fantasy world. I'm dumb, and I know I'm not that dumb. Not we're professional dudes. How do you get away with it? I don't know, folks. Something fishy about it. A lot of people are saying, why didn't they fire upon him right away? They probably didn't see him right away if he was hiding behind trees or whatever on that roof. If he was down low, away from the ridge line, they probably couldn't see him. If you notice, they both were up high, but they couldn't see him. And then one of the snipers dropped low. Now, whether they both were low and one of them went high because they couldn't see him after he went over that ridge of the building, uh, or somewhere there was a meltdown or a communication breakdown. And how does the dude pick a building where there's a whole bunch of cops already in it? He's climbing around on the roof and there's cops in the building. Let me see what my chat is saying. Now here comes Lane Staley. You heard he wore a brown bikini. Oh my God, Lane. This is serious stuff, Lane. And you want to bring in Nikki in the brown infamous bikini. Unreal. But I'll let you stick around because I guess the women love you. Nothing makes sense. No, nothing is going to make sense. What you folks seen right in front of your eyes is a conspiracy happening. It was the police. No, you got the police pointing at Secret Service. It was a Secret Service. No, it was this, it was that. It was many things, folks, that created the perfect storm. Now, whether it was planned or not, there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, this was all planned by Trump. It's possible, but Trump would have to put his hands in the life of a crazy blind. And he was blind. He had thick glasses, wore them all the time to take a shot and not take his head, but just nick his ear. I don't know. The kid was not military, although he did go to a shooting class and did practice, but he was not a trained marks shooter. But you don't have to go into the military to be a trained marksman. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people that, well, he's no good. He's not in the military. If you only knew how many people were better than the best of the best of the best military guys at shooting and never were in the military. Now, look at who's in my chat right now. Mr. D. Trump himself. Sir, you're lucky they didn't. You're lucky you ducked yourself. And let it be a lesson to all of us. Don't wait on people to come save you. The best thing he could have did was hit the ground before even the Secret Service got to him. That's probably what saved him. If not, the guy probably would have got his neck shot off and then probably would have been on target. Not a very hard shot, 150 to 200 yards away. AR-15 is deadly at that point. Small caliber, it'll still do. It won't blow your head off like a high caliber sniper rifle, but it will do damage. A 22 would have did damage at that short a distance. And you already got people making videos saying Trump got hit in the chest, and they're showing photos of it, and Trump's dead, and it's an imposter, and it's just part of the conspiracy. The whole thing is just a madhouse. How did it happen? I don't know. Should it have happened? No, never. When you're under power like that, you go to things you can bring in that'll cover for 50 men. A drone. And if you can't get a drone and you don't have the manpower, then you call the rally off. It's too dangerous. We don't have enough manpower. It's just too dangerous. And I would have called it off. But that's me, and I don't run the show. You can chat, Mr. Trump. Go ahead. I see you in chat, Mr. Donald Trump himself. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America. Sir, go ahead and explain yourselves. Go ahead and let us know. You're lucky you acted on your own and hit the ground, sir. I'll tell you what, you're nimble. Very nimble for a big guy. And we're glad you're alive. No man should go through this, even on either side. It's spooky. It's just way too spooky. YouTube is filtering here. It's impossible. You're the president of the United States. How could they be filtering you, sir? Oh my God. I wish they would filter our water instead of my YouTube channel. Can you get someone to filter our water out here? Oh, I bet she's very upset over all this, Mr. Trump. I would imagine very upset. So there you go. JLR is on the spot. I don't know how the JLR does it, but I'm gonna let you folks know. JLR would be a great report. He'd be a great reporter in the battlefield too. He's a great reporter when it comes to these crime cases. I've seen him show up at the Richard Allen case, and that was JLR in the background saying, "You're gonna ride the lightning, Richard." I was like, "Who is this guy?" He just pops up out of nowhere, right out of a garbage can. JLR on the scene. "You're gonna ride the lightning." I thought it was hilarious. All right. So there you go, folks. To me, that kid looks like he might be related to a politician. It looks like a politician's kid. I don't know. What's going on, Mr. Trump? I have no idea, sir. What I would do is stay home. That's what I would do. But I ain't you, and you can't hold you down, and you're going to do you, and I'm going to do me right from this couch. John Largo. I know you got Mara Largo. I got John Largo here. Uh-oh, something's building up inside of me. It ain't good. That taco was good today. Is there any questions? Anybody?
And a rifle, unless he planted them over there by the building and then tried to go through the front metal detectors. What's going on here, people? But these key pieces of information are out there, unless it's all not true.
I agree with JLR. This is only the information we're getting. We don't know if it's true or not. I'm not saying it's true. It's possible. It's possible, Mr. JLR. The kid did plant the weapon and the ladder already there when he first showed up in the morning when it was hardly anybody there. Very possible. Very possible. Valdez, I think you're right. He probably does have he might have something to do with this. All right, let's go ahead and get this through here.
But authorities ain't saying nothing. So I'm assuming that timeline is true. So it looks like he was plotting and planning what he was going to do. It's also being reported that he told his dad he was going to do target practice that Saturday morning, and wanted to use his gun. By the way, it's not illegal to give someone a gun to go to the shooting range with if they're legally allowed to possess a gun. It's not illegal. There's no red flags on this guy that I'm aware of. There's no mental illness with this guy that I'm aware of, and there's no criminal record of this guy that I'm aware of. If you know anything, please share.
Well, he was under the radar. He was under the radar. No history of nothing. And usually these guys that do stuff like this have no past or anything like that. Very interesting what we're seeing here. It's very interesting. Mr. Trump said I'm hired. What am I hired for, Mr. Trump? What are you hiring me for, sir? I have a disability, sir. I wish I could help you. I wish I could run security. It would have been a lot tighter than that. But then again, you would have had helicopter drones flying around there, and everything would have been tighter than a frog's butt, sir. And another thing, Mr. Trump, when you got all these security teams working for you, you're going to have to remember, sir, there's going to be a miscommunication somewhere. And that's probably what we had here, probably a communication breakdown or something, or they just didn't see him. He was that fast, had everything set up. He got up there, boom, got positioned at the one end of the building so he can get a clear line of shot at whoever was the target. And then he moved to the other side of the building, I believe, to try and either take on the two snipers, or he was on his way out of there. He was getting out of there. All right, let me see what's going on. Crooks was part of the group called Nerds Against Trump. I don't know. I have no idea. This is a very bad time for America. A lot of people don't realize it. This is horrible. If a 20-year-old kid could do that had no military training, imagine what a man that has had training uh, and is not blind, don't wear glasses. I think that's the only thing that saved Mr. Trump, was this kid was blind. And even then he was in range, right? Even then he was in range to take people out. Uh, and you ducking to the ground, sir, your instincts was probably what saved your life. You were on the ground before Secret Service got there. So, like I said, we got rats, we got moles. Mr. Trump, I even got them in my chat. Trolls, rats, moles, whatever you want to call them. They take over everything. They claim to be government. They claim to be this. They're not. It's just madmen, Mr. Trump. I would say you saved yourself by hitting the deck. And God bless. Right? We don't agree on things, but I ain't that crazy to try and do something like that. That's just mad. There ain't no way you're walking out of there, man. You how do you leave your your bulletproof vest in the car, and bombs and stuff like that, if you don't think you're walking away from it? He must have. I don't. He. You got to have a guarantee like that to think you're going to walk away from something like that. I don't know. And it's possible he did. It's possible he was brainwashed. MK'd Ultra. That's possible. They might have had him convinced that There was nobody going to take a shot at him or kill him, and he was going to walk out of there unscathed. I mean, how did he think that? Once he got inside the secured area and he's seen all these sniper rifles and all these dudes walking around and everything, and how did he think he was going to walk out of there? The only thing I can think of is he was uh, in his mind, he picked the best place to do it because he knew there was no one above him, meaning the water tower. There was no one on any of the roofs. Again, there was no one on any roof around there except for the two teams that were on the roof behind Mr. Trump. That was it. He must have knew that there was no one above him. So he wasn't worried about his back. He wasn't worried about above him. He was worried about what was in front of him, the two sniper teams. No, them were police officers. Them were police, probably tactical teams. That were the snipers on the roof, the counter snipers. And if you zoom in, everyone, it was Secret Service. If you zoom in, it says right on the back of their jackets or their bulletproof vests, police. And it's known that they did have police working that day for them. Another, that they just contract out to other branches around there. Yeah, Debbie, SWAT teams and stuff like that. Police have SWAT teams. They have tactical groups that go in. That's police. Police are also like Secret Service. They're like FBI. They have teams that go in and eliminate the problem. All right, let's listen up on more of JLR. JLR, I hope you don't strike me. Mr. Trump, I don't know what you want to hire me. Oh, Mr. Trump wants to hire me for Secret Service. Sir, I would. But I can tell you this much. I'd be shutting this government down. You know it as well as I do, Mr. Trump. They don't want me in there, and I ain't crazy to try and take that job because they kill me right away as soon as I said, we're locking this baby down. It's a zoo. It would never work, sir. I appreciate you asking me to run Secret Service. It would be an honor. Another thing, sir, I would be bringing our drones in and using them if I was running Secret Service and this kind. I would be using more of them when we're under power, or under manpower. One man can operate a drone that could take out hundreds in a blink of an eye. They just don't realize our power, sir. But I can't take the job. I'm old. I'm retired. All right, let's move on to more questions. Let's get through this video of JLR.
JLR Investigates wanted to share that additional information. We will talk soon. Stay tuned.
Thanks, JLR, for relaying that information. I'm telling you, the dude's pretty good at reporting on shit. He is. He's pretty good. How he gets all over this country in a blink of an eye, I have no idea. Batcave, probably. He could be Batman. I'm not sure. All right, so there you go. That's what we know about the shooter. He was in the secured area once again. No metal detectors went off. He didn't have no rifle, no ladders. He went in, did his recon. Did everything, looked at everything, and then left, and then climbed up on the roof. and did whatever he did. I can only say this much. We're lucky the kid was either farsighted or nearsighted. And I bet you that played a factor because usually trained shooters have 20/20 vision. They have the best of the vision. Um, and he might have caught a glare off of the sun, off of his glasses. He might have caught a sun glare off of the scope into his glasses, just enough to throw him off a millimeter, a millimeter, and he caught Trump in the ear. But I'm telling you this much. Excuse me. I'm letting you folks know this much. If that was any man that was trained in the military and a professional sniper shooter, Trump would have been dead, and many more would have been dead. The guy got off 8 shots with a small caliber weapon that could have done the job just as much as a 50 cal sniper rifle or an M1, whatever sniper rifle that they're using today. So we can thank the lucky stars and the good Lord that kid had vision problems. Uh, or we wouldn't have a president right now. Even if he had a vision problem, if he had any kind of really good training uh, and was prepared, we'd be going to a funeral right now for the president. So I want to thank the lucky stars that it was an unexperienced shooter. He might have been good, but he wasn't good enough, and they got him. Thank God. And it looks like he had plans to do other damage if he made it out of there. So thank God they did get him. We're hoping that's the truth. You know, we're only going off of what the government is telling us, folks. If they say, well, he had bombs, we're going off of that. We don't know. They could be making it up because they made a mistake. They dropped the ball. So they're going to cover their own butts. Oh, he had bombs. He had all kinds of stuff, right? Do you folks understand what I'm trying to tell you? We're only going off what they tell us. We don't know if it's the truth because we weren't there. We have no idea what was in his car because we didn't search it. All right, let me see what's going on. Mr. Trump, we're glad you have yourself a shamrock shake. I would take a couple days off, sir. I really would. Get a couple 18 holes in. Right? Stay away from the rallies for a while and relax. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. But look at they're censoring Mr. Trump in my chat. He's complaining because he can't say what he wants to. How could they be doing that? You're the president of the United. You almost got. These people are saying that he's using the assassination, the failed assassination, as a political tool to overcome Joe Biden. I'm like, this is completely mad. It's completely mad. Do you want a Kit Kat McFlurry? Nah, we all do, sir. But you got to stay nimble. You can't be. If I'm telling you, Mr. Trump, if you didn't duck yourself, that guy would have had another shot, and you probably wouldn't have been here, sir. We need to keep you nimble. Nimble. Thank God you hit the deck when you did. If you were waiting on anybody else, you probably would have been gone. We probably would have been parting your hair right down the center. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's the truth. Nah, well, all right, folks. There you go. Everyone, go check out JLR's channel, the great JLR, the mysterious JLR reporter. Good reporter. He's always this guy reports on everything. He does. He's pretty good. He reports on everything. Him and that little phone, and I don't know how he does it. He must have tunnels dug all over the world. I don't know how he gets from one spot to the other spot in a blink of an eye. I don't know. I have no idea. I wonder if he's got flyer miles or frequent flyer miles or something. We all want it. We all want free McDonald's for one day. Trump survived the assassination. Everybody in America should get free McDonald's for one day. One Big Mac and a Shamrock Shake. What do you think, Mr. Trump? Every McDonald's I wanted in California last week, they didn't have ice cream, so I couldn't have one. You know that whole McDonald's and their shake and ice cream machine breaking down. Do you know that there's a video out saying that this is all planned? That it was all planned to shut down the ice cream machines in McDonald's. They were all contaminated. Some of them haven't been cleaned for 6 months. It looked like a fungi growing up the side of the machine. People were just being served all kinds of Shamrock Shakes and Frosty Fruities and all kinds of. What was that? I heard something. I don't know what it was. But anyways, it's just horrible. It's horrible. I agree. Mr. Trump posted a crazy face. I agree, Mr. Trump. Crazy face. But you know what? I could have been your next running mate. I could have been vice president. I don't know why he didn't have. Here's another thing. I have no idea why he didn't ask Bobby to run as vice president for him. I just don't know why he didn't ask Bobby Kennedy to run for vice president with him. I don't know. Bobby's a pretty smart dude. Pretty smart dude. But that's your choice, Mr. Trump. I don't know. I'm going to call I'll be reporting from the couch in my apartment. I'll be just sitting here reporting. Hold on a minute, folks. All right, and we're back. Now, you folks go check out JLR's channel. You all have a good night. I'm going to relax. So we are slowly but surely, if this stuff is true, we are slowly but surely learning how this occurred. We are seeing right in front of our faces how conspiracies are created and how they're overlooked. Now, would I call this a conspiracy? I don't know. I need a little bit more proof. Are conspiracies real? My opinion, yes. Very so. More than these people would know. Would it shock me if they said there was a conspiracy to do that? No, it would not shock me. Would it shock me if he was a lone gunner and did this on his own? Nope, it wouldn't shock me at all. He was a loner. What would I tell the Secret Service if I was running them? Don't ever do that again. No matter what the president tells you, you tell him to keep his mouth shut and you get him out of there. No standing up, no waving to the crowd. You do your job and you do your job and get them out of there. That's what I would tell the Secret Service. Um, yeah, yeah. And 20 years ago, that would have never happened. Trump would have been whisked away. For one, there would have been a bigger security ring, and it would have gone out farther than 500 feet, folks. That's pr- basically, he was at 250 feet away from them. Back in the olden days, they would have went miles out. They would have had teams of guys at least a mile out around them, looking just for people coming into town, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. You folks have a great day. Debbie said, I heard that. I can hear you, Debbie. Can you hear me, Debbie? What'd you hear? You can hear my voice? All right. Good. Let me see. Down. I can't trust them. All right, Trump. I understand. I have to sleep now. Kid Rock is here. We are playing golf in the morning. Ah, Mr. Trump, I wish you would stay away from all these people. I seen Kid Rock on there yelling and screaming at people. You tried to shoot the president. Now you're messing with me. Yeah, you don't want these crazy people around you. I got nothing against Kid Rock, but you don't know what these people are going to do. They might do something and get you even more trouble, Mr. Trump. That's what these people are trying to tell you. People hang on your every toenail. Every toenail clipping, there's people hanging on your word and everything. That's all we need now is for Kid Rock to be going crazy and wiping us all out. Now he probably could because I heard his song, bang chiggity 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 dang dang and chiggity chiggity bang chiggity chiggity bang. There's a lot of bangs in there, sir. He could. Yeah, I don't know. He might. He might be able to. I'm not sure. But I'm going to end this video. You folks get over to JLR's channel and check out JLR. If there's any info out there, he'll let us know. Check out all the mods channels in my chat and everything. Check out everyone's chat. I want to thank Mr. Trump for being here today. Sir, I know you're tired. You've been through heck. You probably can't even hear me. Still ringing. Thank God you're alive. I don't know if I'm going to vote for you yet or not, but that shouldn't make us not. That shouldn't make you hate me or me hate you. Back in the day, who you voted for was a secret. You didn't tell people stuff like that. Why? Because you can get killed. So I don't know if I'll be voting for who I'll be voting for. I'm not sure, but I'm glad you're alive, sir. Tell the family I said hello and kiss the wife for me and everybody. Be good. Tell Kid Rock I said bang diggy diggy dang dang diggy diggy dang diggy diggy dang. He'll know exactly what that means. God bless all you people. Have a great night. Be safe. And I'll talk to you later. Thank all my great mods. Debbie, you didn't hear nothing.